Dave Spalding here for Handgun Combatives Nation. I'm with my good buddy and former partner, Bucky Buchanan. We're going to talk to you today about the new Staccato C. This is their 4-inch version of what they used to call the CS, so it would be usable for an on-duty law enforcement pistol. Bucky is here because right now his agency, you're not yet issuing them, but they're approved for purchase, right?
They sure are. We've got an alternative duty program, duty weapon program, and the SWAT guys kind of tried it out first. Guys buying it personally couldn't have been happier. It's been a real hit, and I think we're going to continue to do it. Patrol guys are interested now, and they're starting to buy them themselves.
Now, the Model C hasn't arrived at your department yet, but you told me there's some great anticipation for this, right?
Oh yeah, guys are like, hey, I really like the idea that something that's off-duty carryable, about the size of a Glock 19, and is a Staccato.
Yep. It's very close to a Glock 19. It's a little bit larger, but that's due to the 1911 design. It's just the way it has to be. But let's take a look at some of the features. Now you can see it is unloaded, so I don't intend to point it towards the camera, but just so the range Nazis out there don't go crazy.
I don't want that.
This gun has a lot of great features to it. The very first thing that you have to notice is it has a kind of a sandpaper grip that I really like. I'm 1,000 rounds into this gun now, mostly in 90-degree heat. My hands get real sweaty, and I have found this grip surface to work just perfectly for me. Now, it really doesn't have what I would call a mag funnel. It's more of a flared magazine well. It's rather large, but with the tapered magazines that come with it, it is really easy to do reloads. And I've been doing these reloads on the move, which is how I think they should be done. And if you've got a stoppage, you need to reload that gun, I think you need to be moving, if at all possible, to kind of keep yourself from getting shot. It's got a very, very nice trigger. It breaks my scale at 4.5 pounds. It's very smooth. It's got just a slight wall right before it drops that hammer. Some people will like it, some don't, but it's very, very manageable. Now, what I want to call your attention to is this frame. If you take a look, and Darren, if you can come in a little closer, if you take a look at this frame to slide fit, they are just exactly the same width. It's just very smooth. They've lengthened this out. Not only will this make the gun more reliable, but it's going to help some with recoil control.
A little more weight.
You'll also see that it's got a full-length rail. No, it's not a Picatinny rail, but it's got a single notch, but it'll fit just about every light you want to put on there, including some of the bigger lights, which can kind of stick out beyond the end of some of the more compact pistols. Now, many of the 2011 models these days comes with ports and contours and fish scales. The Staccato C doesn't come that way. It comes with just rear and forward cocking serrations. They're nice and big, not overly sharp, makes it really, really easy to use it. You know, with carry optics these days, Buck, the forward cocking serrations are becoming more and more popular because people just don't want to grab the slide around the optic. They'd rather go forward and do that.
They do it all the time.
So it's a really nice feature. Now, let's take a look at the beaver tail. The beaver tail safety is important because you want to make sure you get that each and every time when you grasp it. A lot of people don't understand the importance of that web of hand to tang fit. A lot of people think it's to get their hand up close to the bore line, and that is true, but it's mostly intended to cam the muzzle down. If you get up in that tang, you're already forcing the muzzle down, and that's very, very important. Well, as you go up there and you already make that contact, the fingers are now going to go downward. So you're going to even add to that lock. Now, something that's nice about a beaver tail grip safety is when you depress that in, it literally brings the tang down. So you even have a better lock in the web of your hand than you would a conventional grip tang.
And this one comes with a raised button on the back there for that, which makes excellent contact.
Yeah, you make really good contact. You're already camming that down. Now we go down low. The thumb goes high because it's got to activate the thumb safety. Well, that puts your hand in the perfect position to put that other hand in there, and now you've got a lock on this pistol that will just keep the gun from rising very much. I mean, hey, it's a 9mm pistol. There isn't a lot of recoil to it. But once you build a perfect grip around this, this gun is really easy to shoot quickly.
You think that's by design.
Right, and so many people, in the interest of knocking a few tenths of a second off that timer, they'll accept a shit grip. Don't do that. Always build a good grip, and the Staccato C really helps you do that. It's got a little bit taller magazine button that helps you eject that magazine, though when I put my support hand on it, I had no interference whatsoever. Of course, it's got a slide release, slide lock, whatever you want to call it, that's big enough you could probably park your car on it, so there's no problem engaging that if you want to do it with your offhand thumb. It comes with just a left side safety. Well, no, it does. It comes with a two-sided safety. What am I saying?
You're not left-handed, so you would have
I
never
am not
seen it.
left-handed.
You'd have
so
never seen it.
Never saw anything. But it allows you to use this gun with either hand. I don't know what more I can say about it, Bucky. Oh, I will say one more thing. I'm not a big fan of the hook trigger guards, but I'm kind of an aficionado for the square trigger guard. Years back, I had a Swenson 1911 that I had to sell because I had bills to pay, but they had cut that trigger guard to square, and I always liked the way that looked.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing about the pistol that you like?
Having some time now personally and running it on duty, I run a C2, which obviously very similar to this. It's almost like cheating. These, especially just for my hands, my angle of my own wrists, the grip angle, the pointability of this, it's almost like cheating. The natural ability to drop it in for this gun to arrive where you're looking, which handgun combatives doctrine. This gun is almost like cheating. Every officer that has one of these has never turned around and said, I don't like this. They've never said it. It's always turned around with a smile. Got nothing bad to say about Staccatos. They don't pay us to say this. They didn't pay our department to say this. But I would take one of these if you gave it to me.
Oh, I'm sure you would. So would I.
Yeah, especially folks ask questions about, hey, well, that's a 1911, 2011 platform. How is it with an optic sitting on top? And as you can tell, there's enough meat, and even with aesthetics, it looks like it naturally belongs there. So what we do with it for duty and SWAT use, there are no complaints. It takes a little bit getting used to if you've only been working maybe a double single kind of gun or a striker fired gun, going to having to manipulate manual safeties. It's a transitional thing. It's a training thing. Once you get the hang of it, you'll never go back.
Talking about sighting, it comes with a Dawson Precision fiber optic front sight that has a serrated flat black rear. That sight in itself is really good. We had good accuracy results from it. Using a sandbag rest at 25 yards, we were able to keep a wide variety of rounds in between 1.5 and 2.5 inches. If you put this gun in a ransom rest, which I've never been a big fan of, I'm sure this would shoot 1-inch groups, no problem. Now, Dawson Precision also makes their mounting plate come with that rear sight. Now, I broke from the crowd. I didn't use a Trijicon RMR, though I do like that sight a lot. I went with an Ameriglow Haven, and I realized that kind of puts me in a minority with a lot of people because, you know, you can't turn it upside down and drop it on concrete and some of the things, but for everyday carry for myself or typical armed citizens, I'm not sure how important that is. That may be important to your guys that are working the street, but for me, it's not. And what I really like about that Ameriglow Haven is that oblong window.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like they took the Trijicon SRO, which is an optic that you just can't miss finding the dot.
And smashed it down.
And kind of smashed it down a little bit and made it in there for everyday carry or concealed carry. This is an underrated optic in my judgment. I used this on a Glock at gun sight, had no problems whatsoever, won the class shoot off. So I'm kind of a fan of this, and I think people ought to give it a better look, especially if they are a little bit, have to be a little more frugal with their dollars, I should say.
Sure, sure. And it shouldn't be called an entry level by any means. It's a good one. I use it on a blue gun to teach red dot classes with, and it gets dropped all the time, maintains 0, and people always ask, hey, what's something like this cost? When I tell them, they're kind of surprised.
Yeah, it's really a good choice for that everyday carry. That's it, Staccato C. It's brand new. I think it's now getting into the gun stores. It is certainly worth your look. It is the all-around gun. Duty, off-duty, everyday carry. probably even competition.
I would take a look at it.
Dave Spalding, Handgun Combatives Nation, thanks for checking in.